So your topic is uses of induction. Electromagnetic induction is used. Electric generator is based on electromagnetic induction. Transformer is also based on electromagnetic induction. And inductor. So these are the basic elements, circuit elements, which are based on principle of electromagnetic induction and is important to today's electronic era. So let us move on to the transformer because electric generator has already been discussed. So transformer is a new topic to you. Transformer is a device which is used to convert high voltage to low voltage, high voltage and low current to low voltage, high current. It is used to convert. So electrical transformer is basically an arrangement of two coils, usually around a laminated iron core. That means two coils which are coupled together without being in electrical contact with each other. One coil is called primary coil and second one is called secondary coil. Primary coil is input coil. Always it is used as input coil, and secondary coil is used as output coil. So primary coil induces voltage and therefore a current in secondary coil get induced. As there is any change in current or voltage in primary coil, so corresponding magnetic field will change and transfer to the secondary coil. And you know well that changing magnetic field or magnetic flux causes EMF induced in the coil. So you see here, any change in this coil is transferred to secondary coil through this iron core in the form of magnetic flux or magnetic field lines. So either current is changing or voltage is changing. Therefore, transformer is very useful and working for alternating current because alternating current is continuously changing, either in magnitude or in direction or both. So it is continuously changing both in magnitude and direction. Its direction changes periodically and magnitude is continuously increasing and decreasing. So this change in electric current or voltage at the input level of the coil is transferred to the secondary coil and hence appears as output as induced voltage or induced current. Mathematically, if you draw the relation, your relation will be the ratio of number of turns on each coil determines the output voltage of the secondary coil. And if this ratio is output to input ratio is greater than 1, then transformer will be a step up, and if it is less than 1, then transformer will be a step down. Okay. Symbolically, transformer is denoted by this one. This is the coil, this is primary coil, and this is secondary coil, and in between you draw two lines. This is the symbol of transformer. Now, what is the work of iron core here? The efficiency of transformer is greatly increased by placing an iron core. You know well that if you don't place iron core, the magnetic field lines in this coil will be diverged as it comes out the ends of the coil. So iron core is used to convert all the field lines produced in the core of this coil and is transferred to this coil. So that's why iron core is used to increase the magnetic field strength in the coil, and hence increased by placing an iron core between the primary and secondary coil. Because by placing this iron core, efficiency of transformer get increased. Now the core greatly increases the magnetic field. We have already told you that magnetic field in a magnetic material, especially in a ferromagnetic material, get increased. If source magnetic field is B naught and magnetic field due to the induction in the material medium, then total magnetic field in the material medium is just equal to sum of magnetic field in the vacuum plus magnetic field induced inside the material. So magnetic field get increased. Cores are laminated to reduce the inductance within the core itself. A cores of iron are not a solid, but it is a laminated plates. There are several plates laminated with each other in order to break the electrical contact between the iron plates, which can cause eddy currents. So to reduce eddy current, that it results in energy loss through the heating. So the solid iron is not used there, but laminated iron plate is used here. You see in this picture only solid iron rectangular frame appears here, but it is not a solid, but several laminated plates, and one plate is laminated from another one in order to reduce eddy current, because eddy current dissipate the energy produced. So transformer, so in order to increase the efficiency, whatever energy is given at the input level must be obtained maximum at the output level. If there is eddy current, this eddy current will dissipate or waste the energy of the input level and output level get decreased. That's why in place of single iron frame, we take iron plates of same size, and they are arranged coaxially such that each plate is being separated from each other by dielectric medium called mica or laminated. Each laminated plate is insulated from its neighboring, and the use of non-conducting magnetic material such as ferrite as a core also avoid eddy currents. Now try to understand. You see here, this is the iron plates, very thin iron plates, laminated iron cores, and when these plates are arranged coaxially, symmetrically, then you will get a solid frame. You see here in this figure. So in between one plate and other plates, there is a insulating material, medium or lamina in the form of mica. So this is the laminated and this is the, so these two makes the two plates separated from each other without being in electrical contact or physical contact. to avoid the heating effect in the transformer or to increase the efficiency of the transformer. Now, types of transformer I have already discussed. There are three basic types of transformer. One is a step-up transformer. A step-up means you give low voltage at the input level at high current, and you will get high voltage at the output level at low current. So, in case of a step-up transformer, number of turns in the primary coil is less than that of the secondary coil. Therefore, ratio of number of turns of the secondary coil to the primary coil is more than 1. Therefore, transformer is a step up. Second one is isolating transformer. What is the function of this transformer? Try to understand. This type of transformer is used to produce an isolated circuit, which is safe for using electrical appliances and outdoor. Because so many transformers you will see in electrical gadgets like your transistor, television, and many other devices. This, and even on the speaker, this devices isolates the circuit which is safe for using. As you use the appliances outdoors. Now next one is a step down transformer. A step down transformer is just reverse of the transformer of the first kind, that is a step up transformer. A step up transformer takes low voltage and high current as input level and gives high voltage and low current at output level. Just reverse of it. A step down transformer takes high voltage at low current and gives output as low voltage and high current at the output. And number of turns in the primary coil and secondary coil in the step down transformer is in such a way that ratio of number of turns in the secondary coil to that in primary coil is less than 1. Okay. Now come to the point DC in transformer. If you use DC supply in transformer, then what will happen? You see here, this is the primary coil and this is the secondary coil, and these two coils are not in physical contact with each other or even not in electrical contact with each other. But these two coils are coupled with the help of this iron rod such that when current flows through this coil, then magnetic flux linked with this coil will be transferred to this coil. And this is called coupled. So these two coils are coupled. So whatever there is electromagnetic change in this coil will be transferred to this coil. And hence pointer of galvanometer connected to the terminal of this coil will be deflected. Although these coils are not in contact with that, this coil is not in contact with this coil, still. And this coil is not connected with any power source like battery and generator. Still there is deflection in the pointer of this coil, indicating that whenever there is current in this coil grow or increases, magnetic field due to this coil increases, and this increased magnetic field causes changing flux in this coil, and hence current get induced in this coil. So you know, according to Faraday's law, induced EMF is directly proportional to number of turns, or simply induced EMF is directly proportional to rate of change of magnetic flux. So this is the magnetic flux, and for single turn del phi v upon del t, and for n turns n times. So voltage is induced in only when the flux is changing. In case of DC supply, battery supply constant current, so current is not changing in context with the direction and magnitude. That's why no EMF will get induced, because no flux is changing, because current is constant, so magnetic field is constant, and hence magnetic flux is constant. And if magnetic flux is not changing, then del phi b upon del t equal to 0, that induced EMF equal to 0 in case of DC supply. Now, voltage induced only when, this has already been discussed. In DC circuit, that is only when current is switched on or switched off, for the time being, only then EMF will get induced, because as soon as you switch on or switch off, for the time being, magnetic field increases from 0 to certain value. Thereafter, it becomes constant. So during switching on and switching off, pointer of secondary coil will show deflection. But after switching on and switching off, there will be no deflection in the two coils. That means no induced current in the coils. Now, in case of alternating or AC transformer, if you supply AC, alternating current or alternating voltage in the transformer, then what will happen? Transformers are most commonly used in AC circuit because the constantly changing direction of current means that induction is continuous. But in case of DC, direction is not changing continuously, and even magnitude is not changing continuously. If magnitude is being changed continuously, then induction will be there. But we have to invest another kind of energy. One kind of energy is electrical energy, and other one is to change the current, magnitude of current. So it will be very dissipative and expensive. In AC type of transformer, just you give alternating voltage itself is continuously changing. So it induces the current in the secondary coil. And even if you give low voltage as input and you want a high voltage as output, then you can do this.
सर कौन सा चैप्टर हो रहा है?
अभी तक ये पता नहीं चला, ये इलेक्ट्रोमैग्नेटिक इंडक्शन चल रहा है. हेलो हेलो, yes. So transformer are most commonly used in AC circuit because constantly changing direction of the current means the induction is continuous. Now let us check out action. Transformer in action. This is the physical shape of the transformer. A primary and secondary coil with the help of iron core are inside the transformer. This is the coil. So in a transformer, there are three wires given as output and 3 wires as input. So there are 3 coils you see here. And transformer is mathematically explained as, in ideal transformer, net input power must be equal to net output power. So you see here, net input power is power in primary coil and net output power is power in secondary coil. So this must be equal for ideal transformer. There is no wastage of energy, and hence you just place, in place of, you can write here Vs is to Vp equal to Ip is to Is. That is, Ip is in current in the primary coil and Is is the secondary current in the secondary coil. So ratio of voltage in the secondary coil to that in primary coil is just equal to ratio of current in the primary coil to that in the secondary coil. It means that we see that voltage and current in the coil is inversely proportional to each other. That's why we say that if we give high voltage at input level, then current will be low. And if we obtain high voltage as output, then output current will be low. So transformer efficiency is never 100%, as there is always loss of energy in the form of heat and sound. So however, good design has given some transformer as a 99% efficiency, and efficiency of transformer is expressed in percent. So it is expressed as output energy divided by input energy into 100. First of all, we get fractional efficiency, then multiply by 100, then we get percentage efficiency. So fractional efficiency is just equal to ratio of output power obtained divided by input power. And when you multiply this ratio by 100, you get efficiency in percent. Now come, this is the example. A primary coil of transformer has primary voltage of 12 volt and has 36 turns. So this is Vp. You can say this is Vp because it is primary. And this is Np, that is number of turns in primary coil. Now we have to calculate how many turns will be needed on the secondary coil to give an output voltage of 20 volt. This is Vs, you know here, Vs, yani voltage at the secondary coil, and this is Vp, voltage at the primary coil, and this is Np, number of turns in the primary coil, and here Ns is not known. So Ns equal to what? So we have to use the relation, this one, Vs upon Vp equal to Ns is to Np. So Vs and Vp is known, Np is also known, Ns is not known. So Ns equal to Vs upon Vp into Np. So you can find out 20 divided by 12 into 36 equal to Ns. So you will get 20 divided by 12 into 36 equal to 3 into 20 and 60. That is Ns equal to 60. Number of turns in the secondary coil must be 60. So this types of transformer must be a step-up transformer. Now, here in the second problem, output voltage of transformer is 15 volt. Then find the input voltage. Here, Vs is given and Np is given, that is number of turns in the primary coil is given and number of turns in the secondary coil is given, but voltage at the primary coil is not known, Vp is not known. Again, you have to use the formula Vs upon Vp equal to Vs upon Vp equal to Ns upon Np. And using that formula, you can find out. This is a step-up transformer has 12 volt across the primary coil. That is This is Vp, which carries a current. This is current I, Ip. Then calculate voltage at the secondary coil and current in the secondary coil is given. Is is given and Vs is not known. In this case, you will apply this formula, this one. Okay. And similarly, an isolated transformer has 240 volt across the primary coil and 10 ampere current. Now, what is the efficiency of transformer if the secondary coil produce 240 volt with the current 8.5 ampere? You know that ratio of output power to input power into 100 is called efficiency. So here power equal to voltage into current. So input power is input voltage into input current and output power is output voltage into output current. So 240 into 8.5 divided by 240 into 10. That means 240 get cancel out. It means 8.5 divided by 10. So overall you get 0.85 into 100. That means efficiency is 85%. This is the exercise, and okay. Next application is induction. Next application is induction. So you will come to know what is induction and inductance and inductor. These are the three terms. Inductor is another passive elements, circuit elements, just like capacitor and resistor. It is a two-terminal device. An inductor is just like a coil, solenoid. And solenoid has two terminals. So inductor has two terminals. Actually, solenoid itself behaves as an inductor. When you place inductor in a circuit in series, it converts electrical energy into magnetic energy, and electrical energy is stored as magnetic energy inside the inductor. Just you have seen that when you connect a battery with a capacitor in series, then capacitor draw the charge from the battery and store it in itself. So capacitor stores electrical energy in the space between the plates, and inductor stores magnetic energy in the space inside the coil. So inductor is a device when it is connected in the alternating circuit, carrying alternating current, then it converts the electrical energy into magnetic energy and store it. Therefore, inductor also offers resistance. That resistance is called inductive resistance. These are the three basic circuit elements: capacitor, inductor, and resistor. So far we have learned about resistor and capacitor. This is new elements, circuit elements, which is important. That is called inductor. So let us check out. Inductor is associated with its capacity to store energy, magnetic energy. That is called inductance. Just there we called capacitance in case of capacitor. So here we say inductance. Here we say inductance. Okay. Now, all right. So you see here, this is the solenoid-like things. And inside the solenoid, this is the magnetic field lines, which is uniform, but outside it appears as North Pole and South Pole. This end will be North Pole and this end will be South Pole. So now try to understand inductor and inductance. Inductance is the ability of an inductor to store energy in a magnetic field, or to store energy in a magnetic field. Now, what happens in case of mutual induction? When two coils are closer to each other, although not being in contact with each other, then change in magnetic flux or change in current in one coil will causes induced current in the second coil, and hence the two coils will have current. Second coil will have current as induced current, and first coil will have source current. So due to induced current and source current, both the coil will have magnetic field. So magnetic field produced in the secondary coil due to induced current will causes change in flux in the primary coil, and again causes induced current in the primary coil in opposite sense, and vice versa. And this is called mutual induction. Transformer uses changing current in the primary coil to induce a voltage in the secondary coil, and this is nothing but what? Induced current. As in secondary coil there is a current, so current in the secondary coil also produces magnetic field. This is called induced magnetic field, and this magnetic field will cause change in flux in the primary coil and hence also induces. So this is called mutual induction. So the current in the coil A can be changed. You see here, this is the coil A and this is coil B. Both the coil is placed coaxially. So whenever there is current in this coil, magnetic field lines coming out of this coil will enter into this coil, and hence flux will change. So changing the resistance of the variable resistors here in this circuit will change the current in this circuit, in this coil. As current changes in this coil, so magnetic field linked with this coil will also change it. And changing magnetic field causes change in flux in this coil, and hence current will get induced in this coil. Now, as current flows in this coil, induced current flows in this coil, so induced magnetic field will be there in this coil. So magnetic field line from this coil will enters into this coil. So this coil induces current in this one, in coil B, and in turns coil B also induces current in coil A. This is called mutual induction. So switching the circuit on and off, connecting it to an AC supply. Here right now it is a DC supply. So in DC supply, when you switch on and switch off, you will see the galvanometer pointer here deflected. Now what you do, replace this DC supply and connect with AC supply. What will happen? You don't need to change this resistance. Here this rheostat is provided to change the current. because only changing current can induce voltage in the secondary coil. Now we replace this DC supply by AC supply. You know that AC supply is continuously changing on its own by direction and magnitude. So it will keep on changing magnetic flux, and hence there will be mutual induction. So here you see mutual inductance, just like inductance and mutual inductance. Inductance is the properties associated with the inductor, or inductance is the ability of an inductor to store energy in a magnetic field. Just like a capacitor was the capacity to store electrical energy in electric field. So here, when mutual inductance occurs, mutual induction occurs,